Chapter 9. This is Your World. Ven, Skylar, and Matt entered the failed reality. It was now time for Ven to show his resolve. Just like last time, Skylar and Matt watched from a different reality to avoid harm from Ven's power. Ven stood with a straight posture and his hands at his sides. He took a deep breath and started to take a stance. "Mom, I hope you're watching," he said to himself. "Can I do this? Am I capable of awakening the rings? No, scratch that, I have to. I will not let anything hold me back ever again. Today is the day I shatter this fixed reality." Ven began to charge his rings. Upon starting, he noticed something. Usually he would feel pretty drained after a few seconds. However, he hadn't even broken a sweat. Dark clouds engulfed the area, showering his surroundings in darkness. There was a bright glow from his index finger that insinuated that the ring had started its activation process. The symbol on the ring started to pulsate with a blue glow. There were several earthquakes. Rocks started to levitate due to the pressure of Ven's power. A crater was soon created underneath Ven's foot. He started to charge harder. With thunder roaring and the ground shaking, there was a sudden calm. Ven noticed that he hadn't been in the same place. He wasn't in the failed reality anymore. In fact, he was in the middle of nowhere, just an all-white space. He walked forward, looking around in a fascinating way. "Hello? Is anybody here?" He walked, as it felt like he had gone nowhere. Suddenly he heard a voice. A female voice. "Venero! Venero!" Ven looked behind him and couldn't believe his eyes. It was his mother. "Mom!" He ran to her to try to hug her. Once he did, his hands went through her like a ghost. "What's going on?" Ven questioned. "I am a symbol of how you remember your mother. Listen, Venero, throw away your anger, your urge for revenge and your sorrow. That isn't you. Your power isn't hate, Venero. It's love, the need to protect people and the need to protect yourself. That is your power. When you awoke to your power back then, you weren't angry at the man. You were helpless. You reached the breaking point of how much you could handle without being able to do anything to save your family. The ability to change fate, the ability to refabricate the world, and the ability to do what's impossible. That is your power. Use it. This is your world." Just then, Ven had woken up to the failed reality. Suddenly, his power surged around the world. Ven spoke to himself at that time. "I understand now, Mother. Thank you. I know what I need to do." Ven put his hand out, thinking about the ones he swore to protect. Not just Skylar, Matt, and Mr. Sentry, but the universe. A shockwave of his power shook the world. At that moment, Ven had activated the ring. It successfully floated above his index finger, revealing a blue aura and a lit-up symbol. Skylar and Matt entered the failed reality. "Venny, you did it!" Skylar congratulated. She remembered that Matt couldn't see her bracelet, so she wanted to ask again. "Matt, can you see his ring?" she asked. "No, I don't see anything," he replied. Ven told Matt to look toward him. "Are you able to see this?" he asked. Ven created a small circular dimension. He grabbed hold of it and showed it to Matt. "Whoa! What is that?" Matt asked in surprise. "You can see it?" Ven asked. "Yes," he replied. Ven could now activate the rings on command. The ring's offensive ability to create and destroy his own pocket dimensions, and the defensive ability to allow him to negate all reality techniques threatening his existence. Skylar walked up to Ven to look at the ring. "It's so shiny. It really does look like a little halo. Wait, what's this, Venny?" She had noticed that Ven hadn't had a black X on his middle finger like the rest of them. "Venny, this ring is glowing," she exclaimed. "Wow, you're right," he agreed. Shortly after, Ven slowly fell backwards. In slow motion, he had been inches away from hitting the ground, but he went through it and everything went black. Ven's eyes gradually opened. With everything still hazy and blurry, he heard noises. "I'm so glad you're okay. Me and Ven thought you were gone." Ven instinctively responded, "Hey, don't say things like that, you..." Suddenly Ven realized what he was saying out of his mouth. It seemed familiar. "That's right, these are the words I said to Matt when we went to visit my mother and father." He said it in a tone that showed he had realized something. "Is this a dream?" he asked himself. "But it's so real." Ven had no idea what had been going on, so he observed. Suddenly there was a knock at the door. "It must be Mr. Sentry!" Matt yelled. Matt and Mrs. Sentry went to the door. "Wait!" Ven cried. Like last time, only Matt heard him. Mrs. Sentry had been seconds away from grabbing the door. Ven put the pieces together. "Am I in the past? If that's true, then she'll be killed." Ven was about to activate his ring's power to protect her when he thought about the right thing to do. Even though I have the ability to change reality, is it right to mess with time? Ven started to cry at the thought that he would let his mother's fate end the same way. With tears falling down his face, he did not meddle. He closed his eyes, but all he could hear were footsteps running towards the door. He knew what would follow. She's about to touch the door! Should I save her? I can do it right now. Suddenly he thought about how selfish that would be. Changing the past never works out in the future. Saving his mother may harm someone else in the future. If he had saved his mother, he may not have met Skylar or Matt in another reality. Finally, time was up. Mrs. Sentry had touched the door. Ven did not move a muscle until his father had been wounded. Once that happened, he effortlessly defeated the man once again in exactly the same way. Soon after, he stood there with gentle tears sliding down his cheek. He accepted reality. Minutes later, he had fallen backward again. Venny. He had been zoned out. Skylar had been calling him. He had tears on his face, but he didn't seem angry, just sad. He said out loud, "I can't change the past, Mom. But mark my words, I will never let anything like this happen again," cried Ven. His rings had dispersed, and he passed out from stress.